After winning the $1 million lottery, my boyfriend Ethan secretly gave the ticket to the bankrupt campus queen Lily. He tried to console me by saying we still had the college entrance exams ahead of us and she had nothing left. Overjoyed, Lily recklessly drove off, causing an accident that killed me. In court, Ethan forged a suicide note in my handwriting and testified that I had taken my own life. With both evidence and testimony in her favor, Lily was acquitted of all charges. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the moment when Ethan was fretting over Lily's bankruptcy. This time, I concealed the lottery ticket and slightly suggested to him, "You don't have the money to save her, but you still have the college entrance exams." The next day, Ethan, despite having the grades for an Ivy League school, deliberately applied to a lower-tier college and sold his acceptance for $1 million to help Lily. At school, Lily's financial ruin was the talk of the campus, and Ethan was the most distraught of all. His lips were covered in sores from anxiety, yet he lied to me, claiming they were from staying up late to study. "Emma," he said, "didn't you say you might win the lottery? Did you?" His face lit up with anticipation. I shook my head in feigned disappointment, and his expression fell instantly. His eyes were full of dismay as he hastily packed his bag, muttering, "I'm heading to the library to study. I'm not going home with you." Once Ethan was out of sight, I pulled out the lottery ticket I had been holding tightly. I had lied. I had won the lottery, a total of $1 million. In my previous life, I couldn't wait to share the news with Ethan, but instead of celebrating, he gave the ticket to Lily, the campus queen. "We still have the college entrance exams," he said. "She has nothing left. I'm the class president, Emma. It's my duty to help struggling classmates." What a joke. If he wanted to help someone, why not use his own money instead of stealing mine? After losing the lottery ticket in my previous life, I poured all my hopes into the entrance exams. But the day before the test, Lily, thrilled by her newfound wealth, drove recklessly and killed me. After my death, she was so consumed by guilt that she wept profusely. Yet Ethan, unable to bear her pain, forged a suicide note in my handwriting and testified that I had taken my own life. With this evidence, Lily was acquitted and walked free. In gratitude, Lily confessed her feelings for Ethan. With his help, she secured a college recommendation and was accepted into an Ivy League school alongside him. The two became the envy of everyone, a picture-perfect couple. Meanwhile, I was left as the forgotten victim of their success. The painful memories surged within me, and I gripped the lottery ticket tightly. This time, I was determined not only to hold on to my winnings and rewrite my fate but also to make those two pay for their betrayal in blood. I quickly cashed in the ticket. After paying taxes, I was left with $1 million. Seeing the hefty number in my bank account filled me with a deep sense of security. Even my steps felt lighter as I returned to school. To my surprise, as soon as I stepped onto campus, I saw Lily crying by the lotus pond. A crowd of fawning admirers surrounded her, offering their sympathy, including Ethan, who had claimed to be studying at the library. Among the group, Ethan didn't stand out. While others pushed their way to be near Lily, Ethan was left on the edge, gazing at her with helpless sorrow. When Lily caught sight of him out of the corner of her eye, her expression was filled with disdain. I suddenly remembered that in my previous life, Lily only began to see Ethan in a new light after he stole my lottery ticket for her. From that moment, he went from being an unnoticed nobody to the most devoted follower in her eyes. In this life, Ethan and I were both poor, and to Lily, once a wealthy heiress, Ethan was nothing more than a bright but impoverished scholarship student. He wasn't worth her attention. Watching Ethan's pained expression, longing to love someone he had no chance with, I recalled the happiness on his face in my past life when he handed my lottery ticket to Lily. "I like her," he had said. "As long as she's happy, I don't care if I end up in hell." Back then, Ethan and I were neighbors and desk mates, inseparable. Everyone assumed we were a couple. Even I thought so. Only the final step of confessing our feelings was missing. But that day, after a heated argument, he looked at me with mockery and sneered. "Emma, how could you think I like you? Being with you is so boring. Most of the time, I wish you were her." Then I remember it's impossible. She's so dazzling and full of life, warm like the sun. You're nothing like her, dull and lifeless. Ethan's words echoed in my mind. "I'm willing to do anything," he had said. In my previous life, he proved it. He stole my lottery winnings, protected a murderer, traded a recommendation for Lily, and entered a prestigious college alongside her. He made himself the hero of his love story while utterly destroying my life. He wasn't a murderer, but he might as well have been. I stared at Ethan coldly. In the last life, he sacrificed me to become a champion of pure love. This time, I would ensure Ethan sacrificed himself to light up his own so-called romance. As her mind changed a second later, she began probing about the details of my supposed date with Ryan Sly, trying to gather enough information to take my place. Her intentions couldn't have been more obvious. Inside, I was laughing uncontrollably. How predictable, she had fallen right into my trap, coming up with the ridiculous idea of impersonating me. Feigning ignorance, I gave her every detail about the planned date. When she later slipped me 2 sleeping pills under the guise of concern, I even pretended not to notice. As I slept, Lily applied heavy makeup to her face, donned a mask, and changed into my clothes. With a smug smile, she walked out the door, pausing just long enough to glance back at me with a sneer. "You idiot, you deserve to have this life stolen from you," she muttered. "With this mask on, who's going to know I'm not you? Once everything's done and dusted, he won't even have the chance to back out." After Lily left, I opened my eyes and calmly dialed a top entertainment journalist. "I have a story for you," I said, my voice steady. "The son of a jewelry tycoon, Ryan is a violent sadist. Tonight, he'll reveal his true nature." The journalist's excitement was palpable through the phone. "What's your condition?" they asked eagerly. "This is explosive news." I replied, my voice chillingly calm as images of Ryan's past cruelty flashed through my mind, those helpless cats he tortured to death and his smug declaration. "Torturing animals is unethical, not illegal. No one can stop me." "Make it as big as possible," I said. "I want him to be ruined forever." "You can count on me," the journalist promised. True to their reputation, the story broke that very night. News of Ryan's abusive tendencies spread like wildfire. The handsome heartthrob everyone admired was exposed as a violent sadist. It was revealed that his home contained horrifying evidence of animal abuse, dismembered remains and grotesque specimens. The scandal disgusted everyone. "He's vile," one headline read. "A monster hiding behind a charming facade." As for Lily, she didn't escape unscathed. She was carried out of Ryan's house in tears, battered and bruised. It was rumored that she had several broken ribs, but sympathy was in short supply. "Don't feel sorry for her," someone said. "She threw herself at him. She brought it on herself." "She's not alone, though," another added. "Her loyal puppy Ethan will never leave her side." I laughed coldly at the thought of Ethan's unwavering devotion. The emptiness of his desk in class didn't surprise me. Ethan's belief in enduring hardship as a testament to love was unshakable. In our past life, when Lily had faced the risk of jail time for killing me, Ethan's first instinct had been to protect her. He saw it as his duty to stand by her, to share her burden, and to strengthen their bond. I imagined he was now at the hospital, fretting over Lily's medical bills while she clung to him like a drowning person clutching at straws. Ryan's brutality had likely left her with serious injuries, and her financial situation meant she couldn't afford treatment. The jewelry tycoon wouldn't pay her bills, he'd probably be glad to see her die in the hospital. At this point, Ethan was all she had left, and like a parasitic leech, Lily would pull him down into the depths with her, ensuring he never surfaced again. After a week of skipping school, Ethan finally returned. His first move was to find me. "Emma," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "can you help me out? I need to borrow $1 million to pay for Lily's medical bills." I raised an eyebrow, saying nothing as he continued. "We've been friends since we were kids. You're the only one I can count on. Please, just this once." Ethan's eyes were filled with desperation and an emotion he likely thought looked like love. "I'll pay you back, promise. You're my only hope." His tone was pleading, his words dripping with sorrow, but all I felt was revulsion. How pathetic. He really dared to think this would work. Throwing a few words at me and expecting I'd saddle myself with $1 million debt, all because his beloved Lily needed medical treatment. From my past life to this one, Ethan had always been consistently selfish. Fortunately, I had anticipated this moment. Sighing, I said, "Ethan, I went to the bank to ask about a loan, but they said I don't qualify. I don't have any assets to back it up. But your family home is in your name. If you apply for a loan, they'll approve it." Ethan's eyes darted away, avoiding my gaze, and I couldn't help but smirk internally. He wouldn't dare use the house as collateral. Ethan's mother, Mrs. He, guarded that house like it was her lifeline. If she found out he'd mortgaged it, she might very well kill Lily herself. Besides, that house was the only asset Ethan had. He couldn't bear to part with it. For all his talk of love, Ethan cared most about himself. Leaning into my next move, I slowly pulled out a pamphlet from a technical college and offered it to him. "This school has a program where top students can apply and get $1 million scholarship right away." Ethan's gaze fixed on the pamphlet for a moment. He looked tempted, but hesitation clouded his expression. I pretended to understand, adding gently, "Forget it. Trading your future for love only happens in novels. We're just ordinary people. Nobody has that kind of grand, self-sacrificing love." No sooner had the words left my mouth than Ethan snatched the pamphlet from my hands. Scoffing, he said, "You don't understand my love for Lily at all. What's a future compared to being with her? I'll do anything for her. And who needs the college entrance exams? I can make something of myself without them." With that, Ethan turned and stormed off. A slow smile spread across my face. I knew Ethan too well. He didn't even truly love Lily, he loved the idea of sacrificing himself for love. That martyrdom gave him a sense of fulfillment. All it took was a small push from me, and he chose love without hesitation. He despised the monotony of studying and exams, which was why he was drawn to someone like Lily, who openly rejected it all. But soon enough, he'd realize how empty life is without the foundation those exams provide. The very next day, Ethan declared that after the college entrance exams, he would attend the technical college in the pamphlet. His announcement sent the homeroom teacher into a near fit. Furious, she called him a fool. Other teachers took turns trying to reason with him, imploring him to rethink his decision. "Ethan, don't be impulsive," one pleaded. "We'll figure out a way to cover the medical bills. Don't throw your future away." Another added, "You've spent 12 years preparing for this. The exams are your chance to get into a top university and change your life. With a scholarship from Tsinghua or Peking University, you'd have more than enough for the medical expenses. Lily can hang on for a little longer." The teachers spoke with urgency, trying to appeal to Ethan's reason. But the more they pressed, the more determined he became. The pushback only fueled his resolve to sacrifice his future for love, to cast himself as the hero in his own romantic tragedy. Catch up just by attending the regular ones. Ethan gave up his habit of skipping class and began attending every lecture diligently. However, after less than a week, his resolve was already starting to crack. He couldn't immerse himself in the class's study environment. Everyone was focused on the college entrance exams, driven by the hope and anxiety of getting into prestigious universities. But Ethan was different. No matter how high his scores might be, his destination was already set, a technical college. His classmates avoided him, and the teachers ignored his questions as if he didn't exist. He was treated like air, cut off from the most basic principles of interaction within the group. It was as though a drab gray duckling had wandered into a flock of elegant swans. When Ethan had first announced signing the agreement, he'd been celebrated as the saint of pure love. But now he was nothing more than a laughingstock. Day by day, his frustration grew. Meanwhile, Lily, having spent all the money Ethan had earned from the scholarship, waltzed into the classroom without a care. Ethan immediately approached her, his voice urgent. "Lily, can you help me pay the penalty fee? Then we can go to Tsinghua together, okay?" Ethan had once thought it didn't matter where he went as long as he was with Lily. But now he understood that it wasn't the same at all. Lily, startled, stammered, "Paying the penalty fee won't help. I don't have the grades to get into Tsinghua." "I can tutor you," Ethan said eagerly, desperation etched on his face. Lily laughed dismissively. "You might love teaching, but I don't love learning. If you can figure out a way for me to get into Tsinghua without studying, then I'll pay the penalty fee." She thought her response would be enough to pacify Ethan, but she failed to notice the determined gleam in his eyes. After class, Ethan came over to my desk, smiling warmly, the way he used to. "Emma, congratulations on becoming the top student in our grade. It's been a while since we've talked, hasn't it?" Faking casualness, he asked, "By the way, which university did you choose for your early admission?" I gripped my pen tightly, suppressing the smirk threatening to surface. As expected, Ethan was scheming again, trying to rope me into his plans. In our past life, he'd stolen my early admission offer and used it to secure Lily's spot at Tsinghua. Now, it was time to settle the score. "Tsinghua," I replied calmly. Hearing my response, Ethan's eyes immediately gleamed with greed. He licked his lips and said, "That's an excellent choice, Emma. Can I take a look at your early admission letter?" Early admission letters from top universities are formal agreements sent to outstanding students. Signing and returning the document guarantees admission, and the university follows up with an official acceptance letter. Ethan, with his knack for forgery, could easily replicate the letter using the details from mine. By altering the information, he could replace my name and photo with Lily's, effectively transferring my spot to her without anyone noticing. In our past life, this was precisely how Ethan had stolen my admission and given it to Lily after I had died. I smiled faintly and handed him the letter. Ethan eagerly scanned the details, committing every line to memory. His face lit up with triumph as he returned the letter to me, faking a sympathetic tone. "Congratulations, Emma." Then, with a smug expression, he strode back to his seat and leaned close to Lily, whispering about his plan to secure her spot at Tsinghua using my admission offer. Lily let out an excited shriek. "Ethan, is that true? You're amazing." Ethan tilted his chin proudly, his face glowing with self-satisfaction. "Of course. Just wait, you're going to Tsinghua with me." Lily, overjoyed, threw her arms around him. Though Ethan didn't like studying, he still clung to the belief that his scheme would work. "Lily, even if you're not into learning, I can teach you," he said cheerfully. "Once the acceptance letter arrives, you'll help me pay the penalty fee, right? Then we can go to Tsinghua together." Lily averted her eyes nervously, nodding. There was no way she'd tell Ethan the truth, that she hadn't won the lottery at all. Ethan, oblivious to Lily's hesitation, hummed a tune as he flipped through his textbook, clearly pleased with himself. I leaned back in my chair, watching him lazily, my shoulders shaking with silent laughter. He truly thought I was as naive as in my past life, ready to walk blindly into his trap. Ethan, I've already prepared your grave. Enjoy this fleeting moment of joy, because soon, you'll sink into the darkness forever. Ethan successfully forged Lily's admission information and swapped it with mine. When I sent out my official acceptance form, Ethan and Lily were ecstatic, unable to contain their glee. As my classmates congratulated me on being admitted, telling me I had a bright future ahead, Lily couldn't help but let out a laugh. "Don't celebrate too early," she said with a smug smile. "The final admit might not be who you think." One of my classmates shot back, "Whoever it is, it definitely won't be someone ranked last in the grade. Go talk about your romance elsewhere. What do Tsinghua and college entrance exams have to do with a pair of technical college sweethearts like you?" The classroom erupted with laughter, and comment after comment tore at Lily's pride. Her face twisted in anger as she snapped, "For your information, the person Tsinghua accepts will be me. The agreement has already been sent." No longer trying to hide her intentions, Lily openly bragged about her supposed early admission to Tsinghua, claiming she'd soon receive the official acceptance letter. Though most of my classmates dismissed her claims as nonsense, her confidence made some uneasy. They approached me, warning me to be cautious, as these types of identity theft schemes had occurred before. The penalties were severe, expulsion at best, criminal charges at worst, which had largely deterred such behavior. But no one could guarantee that Lily wouldn't be reckless enough to try. I just smiled, offering no response. I had already planned everything. The day the acceptance letters arrived, Lily and Ethan were the first to rush into the classroom. When the homeroom teacher entered with the letters in hand, Lily's gaze locked onto them, staring so intensely it was as if she could burn a hole through the envelopes. Ethan gently held her hand, trying to calm her nerves. "Don't worry," he said soothingly. "Your name is definitely on that letter." The teacher raised the envelopes, her cold gaze sweeping across Lily and Ethan. "I have 2 early admission letters here," she said icily. "One is for Lily, admitted to Tsinghua University." Lily let out a piercing shriek of joy, jumping up and down in celebration. But Ethan's expression flickered with unease. "And the second," the teacher continued, "is for Emma, admitted to Peking University." Ethan's face instantly drained of color, while Lily continued to celebrate, oblivious to the shift in tone. The teacher's next words cut through the room like a blade. "Tsinghua informed us that Emma had already declined their offer, and they have the records to prove it. However, someone attempted to use her personal information to fraudulently claim her spot. This is a serious violation, and we will handle it with utmost severity." Lily finally realized something was wrong. Turning to Ethan, she frowned and hissed, "What's going on? Didn't you say everything was foolproof?" Ethan's panicked gaze darted to me. His voice trembled with rage as he growled, "Emma, you set me up." I smiled faintly. "I just went along with your plan."